Have you ever felt trapped in the prison of loving someone who doesn't love you back? That feeling where your heart aches with every memory, where you check your phone hoping for a message that never comes, where you wonder if you'll ever feel whole again. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful psychological insights from Carl Jung that could transform your emotional life forever. This isn't just another video about moving on. This is about understanding the profound psychological mechanism that keeps you chained to someone who isn't meant for you. What if I told you that your attachment isn't actually about them at all? What if this pain you're feeling is actually the doorway to the most important relationship you'll ever have? Part 1. Understanding emotional attachment. Emotional attachment is perhaps the most powerful force governing our lives. It binds us to people, memories, and illusions that in many cases no longer serve us, or worse, actively harm us. But here's what most people miss. According to Jung, attachment isn't merely an emotional bond. It's a projection of our own psyche. We don't cling to people because we genuinely need them. We cling because they reflect unconscious aspects of ourselves that we haven't yet integrated or acknowledged. Think about it for a moment. When you can't let go of someone who clearly doesn't value you, what you're actually doing is rejecting a part of your own being. You're looking for external validation for something you haven't yet found within yourself. This is the fundamental trap of attachment. It deceives you into believing that your happiness, your completion, your worth depends on someone else, when in reality, what you seek is the integration of your own psyche. Let me ask you something powerful. What qualities do you admire in this person who doesn't love you back? Their confidence, their freedom, their passion? What if those qualities are actually aspects of yourself that you've been unable to recognize or express? If what I'm saying is resonating with you so far, this is your sign that you need to hear the rest of this message. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss content that could change your life. And if you know someone trapped in the pain of attachment, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear today. At Motivation Dose, we're building a community of people committed to psychological growth and authentic living. Join us by liking this video and let me know in the comments what aspect of attachment has been hardest for you to overcome. Now, let's continue with the deeper insights that will set you free. Part 2. Jung's method for emotional detachment. So how do we begin to break free from this powerful attachment? Jung offers us a 3-step approach that goes far beyond the typical just move on advice. The first step is recognizing the projection. Ask yourself honestly, what part of myself am I seeing in this person? Maybe you're drawn to their confidence, their independence, or their passion for life. Instead of viewing these qualities as external, as something only they possess, Jung invites you to integrate them within yourself. If you're attached to someone because you admire their self-assurance, perhaps it's time to cultivate your own confidence. If you can't let go because they make you feel special, ask yourself why you're unable to give that love to yourself. The second step in Jung's approach is confronting your shadow. Jung emphasized that what we don't face within our psyche becomes our fate. If you continually end up in relationships where you feel undervalued, there might be a part of you that believes you don't deserve more. Perhaps that belief originates from childhood experiences, from a distant parent, or from past loves that left deep wounds. But the past doesn't have to define you. True transformation occurs when you dare to look inward and heal those wounds instead of expecting someone else to do it for you. The third step is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your true self beyond the expectations of others. It's a profound journey of self-discovery that requires you to release anything not aligned with your essence including people who don't reciprocate your love. Not because you're unworthy of love, but because their path is simply different from yours. Trying to force a connection where there's no reciprocity is like attempting to fit a puzzle piece where it doesn't belong. Part 3. The transformation of detachment. True detachment isn't an act of coldness or indifference. Rather, it's an act of deep understanding. You come to realize that another person isn't the source of your happiness, but a mirror reflecting something within you that requires integration. True love isn't about dependency, it's about freedom. Letting go isn't about losing, it's about creating space for something more aligned with your true self. Many people fear the emptiness that comes with detachment. However, Jung taught that emptiness isn't something to fear, but a sacred space where new things can take root and flourish. When you release a relationship that doesn't truly belong to you, you're opening yourself to the possibility of something greater. But the universe cannot bring you something new if you're still clinging to the old. It's in that very emptiness where true transformation occurs. This is where you rediscover yourself, not as someone seeking completion in another, but as someone who is already whole. And then something magical happens. When you stop seeking love outside of yourself, you begin to radiate love from within. You no longer need external validation because you recognize your own worth. You no longer hold on to one-sided relationships because you value your peace more than the exhausting struggle to be seen. And in that moment, the right people begin to arrive. People who love you for who you truly are, not for what you provide or how you fit into their narrative. I want to pause here because what I'm about to share next could completely transform how you view your past relationships and current attachments. If you're finding value in these insights, please take a moment to hit the like button. It helps more people discover this content who might be struggling with emotional attachment right now. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Motivation Dose for more content that dives deep into the psychology of self-growth and authentic living. Our community is growing stronger every day, with people just like you who are committed to breaking free from painful patterns. Now, let's continue with the most profound realization about emotional detachment. Part 4. The freedom beyond attachment. When Jung spoke about the transformation of the psyche, he wasn't referring to a superficial change, but to a deep metamorphosis. Letting go isn't merely about ending a relationship. It's about being reborn as a new, more conscious, stronger, and more aligned version of yourself. There are no shortcuts in this process. Emotional detachment is an internal journey that requires courage, patience, and self-compassion. But in the end, the outcome is worth it, because when you dare to release what doesn't belong to you, you discover something far more valuable: yourself. As you begin to let go, you realize that attachment was never truly love. It was a form of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear of losing something that was never really yours. But Jung teaches us that fear is merely an illusion, a barrier that prevents us from accessing our true potential. And when you face that fear, when you choose to look beyond it, something shifts within you. You discover that solitude isn't a punishment, but an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. You realize that the absence of another doesn't create a void, but rather a space for something better to enter your life. The problem with attachment is that it makes us dependent on something external for a sense of completeness. And when that external source disappears, we feel as if something is missing. But Jung reminds us that nothing external can give us what we truly seek. Everything you need, peace, love, security, happiness, is already within you. And when you truly understand this, when you don't just hear it, but deeply feel it, detachment stops being an effort and becomes a natural consequence. Effort and becomes a natural consequence. Part 5. The lessons of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing memories or denying what you felt. It means accepting what was, learning the lesson, and moving forward. Carl Jung once said that the unconscious speaks to us through symbols and experiences, and that every relationship in our lives is a reflection of something much deeper within us. Every person who enters our life carries a meaning, a lesson, a mirror of our inner world. If someone arrives and then leaves, it's not a mistake, nor is it a loss. It's an experience designed to teach us something fundamental about ourselves. Perhaps it revealed to you what you truly desire, or maybe it highlighted the boundaries you're no longer willing to compromise. Maybe it forced you to confront a shadow aspect of yourself, one that you'd been avoiding, but that needed integration for you to grow. But once the lesson has been learned, there's no reason to remain shackled to the past. The problem arises when we get trapped in pain, in nostalgia, in the endless loop of, what if I had done things differently? Jung reminds us that the past cannot be altered. It can only be understood. And once you truly understand it, you liberate yourself from it. There is no greater act of self-love than releasing what no longer resonates with you. Because in doing so, you're choosing yourself. You're declaring to the universe, I deserve something that nurtures my growth, something that brings me peace, something that doesn't require force or struggle. Part 6. The new beginning. When you finally decide to let go, you begin to see life from an entirely new perspective. You start to realize that people don't enter your life randomly. They arrive as reflections of something within you. And when a relationship ends, it's not the end. It's the beginning of a new cycle. But for a new cycle to truly begin, you must be willing to close the previous one. Not with resentment, not with sorrow, but with gratitude. Gratitude for what was, for what you learned, for the growth that it allowed you to experience. Because in the end, every single person who crosses your path leaves something behind, even if it's simply a lesson in what you no longer wish to repeat. True freedom isn't about having no attachments at all, but rather about loving without possession, giving without expectation, being present without dependence. It's understanding that you can share your life with someone without making them the absolute center of your existence. It's realizing that love isn't a chain, it's a state of being. And when you reach this level of understanding, when you stop searching outside for what has always been within you, you discover that the person you needed the most was always yourself. There are no shortcuts to detachment, no magic formulas to release the past. It's a process of deep transformation, of facing yourself, of questioning the beliefs you've carried your entire life. But once you cross that barrier, nothing is ever the same again. You stop suffering over what is left, and instead, you start trusting in what is yet to come. You stop searching for love in others and begin cultivating it within yourself. And in that moment, without effort, without force, the right people begin to enter your life, not because you need them, but because you're finally in a place of completeness. Detachment isn't a rejection of love. It's a higher form of experiencing it. It's love without fear, without demands, without unrealistic expectations. It's loving in a way that liberates you rather than binds you. It's understanding that no one belongs to you, and you don't belong to anyone. And when you finally comprehend this truth, you realize that you never truly lost anything. You're merely preparing yourself to receive something far greater. When you begin to let go, your mind will try to cling to memories, to unfulfilled promises, to moments when everything felt perfect. This is human nature. to hold on to what is familiar, even if what is familiar brings pain. But in the end, true liberation comes when you recognize that letting go isn't losing. Letting go is making space for something new, something better, something that aligns with who you're becoming. And in that space, love in its purest and most beautiful form will always find you. Remember, true love begins when you learn to choose yourself first. Thank you for being part of the Motivation Dose community. If this video resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Leave a comment below, sharing your own journey of detachment and growth. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read right now. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us as we continue exploring the depths of human psychology and the path towards authentic living. Until next time, remember that the love you seek has always been within you.